Right, welcome to the July energy update. I have got my list here of astrological things that are going on in July because I can't remember them myself. I'm interested in astrology and I'm a bit of a nerd about it, but I am by no means an astrologer. Do you know what I mean? So I have to write down all the days and planets and things because I'll just forget otherwise. So apologies if I keep looking down on a piece of paper. But there's a lot going on in July. I think I talked in the June one about how the sense of how things are kind of speeding up. And I felt that myself as well. There was kind of a push-pull between one way of looking at things felt like time had sped up and one way of looking at things felt like it kind of hadn't, it was kind of slower. So it depended on what viewpoint I looked at it. But for me, yeah, July is, I'm interested in what's going to happen in July. So I'm recording this on the 29th of June. And so today, Jupiter enters Leo. Okay, and there's a full moon tomorrow. So Jupiter's a planet of expansion, of abundance, of luck, that kind of kingly energy. And that's moving into Leo, which is sort of very open, performative, being seen. We've also got on July the 17th, this Uranus is trining Pluto. And that's a kind of societal and personal transformation. So around the 17th to the 21st of the month is going to be quite interesting. There was also Jupiter in Leo sextiling Uranus on the 21st of July, which is to do with bursts of luck and expansion. So you can see there's kind of a theme emerging here just from an astrological point of view. July the 22nd as well, we enter Leo season with the sun moving into Leo. So it feels like a really kind of threshold month. It feels like, not to put too much weight on it, but it does feel like a month where, things can turn, things can suddenly happen, or a threshold that maybe you've been waiting for a long time to get to and to cross is finally there and ready for you to cross. And I think as well, these things can come up surprisingly quickly. Sometimes we have changes in our lives and they're kind of on the horizon, we can see them and we're plodding towards them. And some of these feel like, they're not that kind of long game. They're just kind of coming out of the side here, out of nowhere almost, and just, something I didn't even foresee or think of or intend that's really good for me has come about and manifested. I mean, by all means, take action where you need to take action, but I think don't put that pressure on yourself to be at a certain place by a certain time, because it's just gonna. I feel like by the end of sort of, maybe not the end of July, but more, towards the end of the summer, maybe, where, life's gonna look kind of quite different to how it was when we were maybe late spring coming into summer, and maybe in a way that we couldn't really have figured out logically beforehand. So with these energy updates, I also like to bring in a plant or two to kind of work with as an ally for the month. And I really wanted to record this outside today, but there's some building work going on outside and it's really noisy, so it's just gonna interrupt the video. But the plant that keeps popping up for me at the moment, and it's one I've not really worked with actually and don't know that well, but it was red clover kept popping up for July. I keep seeing this everywhere now. I see the white clover we've got, I'm just looking, we've got loads in our lawn. I think we have a little bit of red clover, but not as much. But red clover just popped up as this kind of ally for July. So I think red clover, there's obviously this idea of luck associated with it. And that kind of ties in with the whole astrological thing as well. So the whole way Jupiter's going, you know, Jupiter's going into Leo, and making these kind of favourable moves in the sky. So there is that element of luck and expansion coming into it. And if we think about luck as well, that is often things that happen by luck or by chance. They are often the things that come in from, you know, like that weren't in your field of vision and just pop in when you least expect it. So there's that element of luck with red clover. And, you know, for me as well, and any of us going through this transition, this becoming during like midlife or another kind of big life transition, is this support that actually red clover can give you on like a medicinal level as well, because it's quite well known for like supporting menopausal symptoms. So it is a plant that can really help us in these big times of transition. It like draws things in, and it also can help us with like anchoring our personal identity. You know, really looking into your identity. You might be a place where your old identity is kind of dropping or dropped away, and moving into this new identity, which is always a confusing time, and definitely something that's really happening for us around midlife as well. And red clover is a really good plant to work with for that, because it really helps us with the parts of ourselves, of our identity that we want to bring in, or we want to call in, we want to step into, and really anchor that into ourselves. And then I think as we're working on that, months like this one, July, are really good for that anchoring and starting to see things that maybe we have wanted to manifest, or things that we are wanting to anchor in as part of our own selves, actually coming out and being visible, being real, being in this 3D world. The other thing that like red clover speaks to me about as well, particularly again at this time, is this idea of like collective healing. So again, I don't know how that's going to pan out over the next few months, but there is definitely this like message from red clover of like collective healing. You see it like again in the lawns and grasses and things. There's like sheets of it, you know, there's like loads of it. It's very a plant that's in its community. It doesn't really sort of stand alone. It's part of like a bigger whole. So that's what I got for you this month. It's going to be interesting. I always want to know what happens, and I wish I could say what happens, but I can't. So we will find out in the next few weeks what's going to happen. In the meantime, you know, if you want to join the Wild Rose Path, then I will pop a link in the description below, and you can cross the Stile, which has 3 plant allies in it. These are kind of for, you know, if you're in the in-between of a life transition, you're going through something, you're going through like a becoming. There's a link to, I'll put a link to the quiz actually, because then you can find out which plant ally is kind of walking with you at this time. And then if you want to go a little bit deeper from taking the quiz, you can sign up and access the Stile, which is a guide and audio. But otherwise, I will see you soon for the next video.